between being chemically dependent and being an addict. Look at that. Think about that. When somebody is in pain, so much pain, that they wake up with tears calling down their eyes. That's how much pain I'm in. I have to be mindful of all you assholes on the planet, including these cats and these dogs that live with me. You all got assholes. You all got something shitty about you. You can't help it. It sucks. The worst part, I hate fucking talking to any of you, is you dumb fucks who don't know the difference between chemical dependency and addiction. I was not addicted to fentanyl. My body was. My mind probably was. But I, personally, on a human level, was not. That is how come I could come off of it once I didn't have a rotting septic tube in my gut. Once I had the right shunt in my brain. Once I started getting laser epidurals from Dr. Harold Kraft. And I get rhizotomines so I can get those nerves ablated so that I don't have to feel the discomfort of my spinal cord as the MS takes its hold. There is a difference between me and you. You choose to be an addict. Or you didn't choose to be an addict. You were introduced to it as a child, and it's an addiction that you cannot curb, you cannot do anything about, except do what you do and be who you are. That's all you can do. That's all you can be. That's all you can do. That's all you can be. That's all you can do. Anything. Now, when you are unaccepting of somebody that is in pain and you do not understand what it's like to be in pain, maybe you should go stub your toe. Maybe you need to stub that toe so you can understand that that's connected to your brain. That part of your toe, your big toe, actually the middle part's where your middle cranial fossa is. That's where my pituitary gland is. That's the one I like to rub on. And my big toe, because I have a cyst on my cerebellum. So I like to tickle my cyst sometimes. That's how I am, because I understand how my body works. I've been very sensitive to it, and I have not used drugs. But I do not condemn for that reason. It's not my back. It's not how I feel good about doing business. It doesn't make me feel good in the morning to be that kind of person who has to be on this shit. You think I chose to be? No, I was in so much pain, a doctor put me on it. And once a doctor puts you on it, another doctor will put you on it. And then another, and then another, and then another. And then they'll jack you up because, it's quits working. I'm in too much pain. My body was working overtime because I was on my period and I was splitting my brain while I was splitting my eggs. And that made my body work overtime. And now that I don't have to split my eggs anymore, I'm just splitting my brain. And I'm pretty good with that because I've known that's been happening ever since I clogged that first shunt. You have too much protein in your CSF, aka brains, aka myelin sheath. Because I have multiple sclerosis and it's that those hot areas split everything around. I need to ask my neurologist which part is connected to the brain where my MS is, where all the myelin sheath is coming off the fastest. Thank God we got the MS under control. I love this Kesimpta. You see my puppy dog. My little wee puppy dog. My puppy dog. He's a little wee puppy dog. It's another little wee puppy dog. I love my little bitty puppy dogs. People that are addicts are still human beings. Just because some of them don't have... Something happened to them. You think they just... Oh, what? Oh, you want this? You're gonna vacuum? Go for it. I like my roommate. He's an addict. I don't mind. Because at least I know. At least he's open. And at least he's not like my husband was. And he's not addicted to the shit that I take. And that's what's more important to me. Because I do not want anybody fucking with my drugs ever again. My doctor told me that his wife had to keep her drugs in a safe, and I did not understand why. Because I have not been around an addict. So, gotta get a safe. I don't know, I kinda like this one. That Comanche is turning me on. And he's got one of them fire red engines. And he's got some Mexican in him. Not that Mexican. Don't like that Mexicans. They're not good. He did anything. He was a Boy Scout. I told him I'm glad he didn't make Eagle Scout. Boy, that just burns me in ways you can never imagine. He was a sniper in the military. So you think I'm afraid to have a killer next to me? A serial killer? I told him he could bring somebody in. And boy, was that a mistake. Because he picked up somebody who was missing the point between reality and whatever. But she was not my cup of tea after she threatened to kill me once and then threatened to kill him. I don't like hearing those kinds of threats. Because when people say, oh, I don't do that, that's exactly how they are. Oh, I don't do this. Yes, you do. You're just trying to convince yourself that you don't. You're trying to convince yourself that that's not the kind of person you are. You're a judgmental fuck. Especially if you don't know the difference between chemical addiction and chemical dependency and addiction. You're cruel. You're cruel to people like me who have to have it. We don't have a choice. You think there's an epidemic because, oh, people just naturally, whatever. Oh, they just need to keep taking aspirin. That's what they gave me when they violated my rights as a human being when I was in jail. And they kept me in jail longer than they should have because they didn't arraign me. I can't wait to sue those fucking dumbass Burbank boys in blue because they refused to give me my medication. Oh, then the hospital has to give it to you. Well, they didn't take my medication with me. So I could take it in front of a licensed professional. Think about that. Did I have my rights violated? Yes, I did. Did I understand my rights? No, I didn't. Because I called and said, I'm coming to see my son. They took the EPO out of my fucking car. That's how dirty these fucking Burbank cops were. And then they changed my phone records because I kept calling the phone number they said that called me. I'm going to try and get his phone records to say, I don't know who this guy is, and I want to get an affidavit from him saying, I did not contact this woman. I do not know who she is. I do not know why I have phone calls coming to me. That's how evil they are. That's how powerful David Harris thinks he is. Too bad he doesn't understand his daughter-in-law's a bigger cunt than he ever imagined. Because he's going to be homeless. I have my rights on my side. And you violated them. So I got to go do them EPOs. Give that Heather Arachi her due diligence so she can have a happy Thanksgiving. And leave my son the fuck alone. Because that fucking psychotic bitch, narcissistic cunt, put me into a narcissistic rage when she stole my son and then said she was kidnapping him. Oh, she's on fentanyl. I have not been on fentanyl until I tried to kill myself. I was saving it up for a rainy day. Like that. So I could finally put myself out of misery. So I did not have to feel the pain of living through a bunch of narcissistic people that can't see how their actions and their killing with kindness really hurts people. You really hurt somebody when you rape them in their sleep because they're on medication that puts them out because they have brain tumors or something wrong with their spine. It's sick how many women out there are being raped in their sleep and don't even know it. I didn't know it for 7 fucking years. I would wake up with a sore pussy wondering why I was so sore. It was that bad. He was an addict. He was addicted to my drugs. He was addicted to fentanyl because somebody told him how to make fentanyl tea. Somebody taught him to snort my pain medication. And the night before he died, I caught him snorting my Klonopin. I said, "You're not very good at hiding this." He said, "I'm a better liar than you think." He wore this shirt that said "Circle of Trust" and "You." And I didn't realize that I was that you because he had nobody in that circle of trust. He didn't let anybody know he was an addict until the night before he died. And then all the therapy that we went through together after I was raped and I figured it out, I don't know why we didn't go to therapy after that. Talking about it was not going to do anything. I had this one therapist said, "So what are you going to do about it next week?" "How are you going to deal with it next week?" "I don't know how I'm going to deal with it next week. But it's not changing. And it's not me. And you both are putting it on me because you're both males. You're both part of the patriarchy. You like to give women, saddle us with all your responsibilities of being a mother, and then turn your back on us and say, look at what we've done to her, and then we've driven her crazy by not participating in their lives correctly. Oh, I have Munchausen's by proxy, therefore I'm going to use my wife to feed my addictions." Think about that. Think about being somebody's blow-up doll because you're so fucked up. Because one doctor, you trusted somebody when you were already on fentanyl not to have brain surgery. Not to have surgery. Anybody that tells you to put off having brain surgery, you need to get away any kind of surgery. Don't listen to them. An ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. Believe me, my fucking arm was coming off of my body when I finally. People kept saying, don't get a total shoulder replacement until you can't stand it. My surgeon could not believe I wore my bone completely flat. Completely flat. Completely flat. Look at that. Completely. That's how much pain I can take. That's how mindful I have to be so I can just function. Think about that. Think about how much pain somebody can take when they're on so much fentanyl. 100 micrograms on my arm for years. And my husband couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop it by taking me to a different doctor. He didn't want to participate in taking care of me. He just wanted to use me for his addiction. And it's so hard in this world today to trust one fucking person. One who can take care of you. One fucking person who's willing to go the distance. I'm sorry I saddled my kid with my problems. I wish I never had. I wish his dad hadn't died. I wish some life he didn't. Some life I was able to rescue him before he even had a heart attack. Some life his own daddy called the fucking ambulance instead of walking out this door, looking at his grandson saying, I wonder what he's taking. Instead of asking his daughter-in-law who told him, I told that stupid fucker that Josh had stolen my Dilaudid. And then he had a car accident with Cassius in the car. He said, I woke up in so much pain. And I said, where's my medication? He goes, it's over here somewhere. He goes, I lost it. And that wasn't the first time I'd lost bottles. He used to make me feel like I always lost them. That I was the one that was nuts. That's what they do. That's how narcissistic his family was. That's how crazy they were. People will watch you put your own wife under so that you can control her easier. So you can get whatever the fuck it is you want without having to deal with her mouth running. That's how bad it's gotten for the world. Because people cannot be honest with one another. Isn't that sad? It makes me sad that, I'm making my roommate be honest with me from the get-go. Don't lie to me about anything. I can tell shit. I can tell things that happen to you. I'm not dumb. I've been through enough in my life. Drug addiction does not start because it starts when they're teenagers because they want to feel good about themselves instead of feeling awful because of what society does to them. And that's something we need to teach them. They need to see what drug addiction does to you. Some people can handle their addictions. If those people can handle their addictions, then why should, the government is the one that's pumping us full of these drugs. I know, my dad used to be an interstate drug trafficker. Used to be. He's the biggest criminal attorney in Kentucky. He runs that state. I had to run away from him when I saw him on KET, and he wouldn't have anything to do with me because his wife slammed my fingers in the door, and then she called me a fat bitch, and I kicked her in her cunt. I'm surprised I got my goddamn foot back. She was a coke whore. How do you know, Catherine Elizabeth Clay? Because my dad used to steal the cocaine from all the people, his clients, and turn around and sell it. His best friend, he used to come in and sell sunglasses, and I could never understand why my dad looked at all these frames that were 35, all these $50 and shit like that, and then he never changed his glasses. Kids do pick up on things a lot faster than adults. It just takes them a lot longer to process things. It's taken me 50 years to process a lot of this shit. It took me 50 years to understand my dad and coming off of fentanyl to understand that my dad was a cokehead. That's why he divorced my mother. That's why he thought it was okay to do the stupid shit he did to her, just like Johnny Depp did to Amber Heard after he defamed her first. Go watch London Fields. Go watch the last few minutes of it, because the rest of it sucks. I feel so bad for that little girl. I don't care. She was half his age, twice as dumb, and he used the fuck out of her. Because she had a perfect ace. She was bought and sold. Bought and sold because of how she looked. And look at that. He knew she had he knew she had cluster B personality disorders. And he still married her. He married her. He put that out into the world on London Fields. Amber Heard, if you want to know how to win that defamation suit, you get in touch with me and I'll tell you the rest. Because I'm not telling anybody without signing a waiver. Catherine Clay gets half of everything that Amber Heard gets, or her attorneys, because they were too stupid to see the truth. They're dumb. They don't know it. They can't see it because they haven't experienced enough life. Too bad this criminal defense attorney's daughter has. All I had to do to get into law school was roll out of bed to take that LSAT and pass. Oh, what did you get? It doesn't matter what I got. I still fucking passed. Without studying, without just taking it on a lark. That's how smart this fucking crazy bitch is. You should be scared of somebody who has nothing to lose, including her own goddamn country, to a bunch of fucking losers. Drug addicts that are addicted to cocaine and whores and like to not get this shit worked out, so that's in a dungeon. Work with professionals. You do not need to take that raping shit at home. If you're a woman that has a fantasy, work it out in a dungeon. You stupid cunt. Because once you turn somebody else into a rapist, you turn them into a rapist for the next woman, and the woman after that, and the woman after that. And the only way you can be safe is when somebody else has been violated themselves. Because somebody else was addicted to drugs when they were doing stupid shit and in charge of children. We need to protect children and women, and instead we're doing the opposite. We're letting Kathy Licks, who's call it a trinity and then count to 4 points on their chest because they double-crossed women and left us out of the cross. Jesus wouldn't have been here without his fucking mother. That's why all them 13 tribes go by the mothers, because you can't doubt who the mother is. Can't doubt that. I know that my mothers were possessions of who they were. I've got that fucking chart around here that tells me who I am. Who are you? I know exactly who I am. I know my descendants were not in the KKK. Thank God. Thank God for that. Thank God they were God-fearing men. Thank God they made me believe in God. Because it's not only one God. It's the God that everybody believes in. They just can't see and recognize the cultural sensitivity of other people's religions because of their own fucked up addictions to their own beliefs. Slaves to beliefs made by people with addictions to the wrong drugs. And we need to, it's not that the government needs to know your business, but we need to get this drug shit under control. We shouldn't, if an addict can function in society, we let alcoholics do it all the time. All the time. And alcohol's way more dangerous than weed. That's for certain. A gateway drug? No. A gateway drug is called caffeine. A gateway drug is called sugar. Those things are the most dangerous things to the planet and to the world. You dumb fucks don't realize the reason they're deforesting the rainforest is so they can grow those coffee beans for Starbucks. You can't give up your addictions because you started them when you was children. I remember when they wouldn't let us drink coffee. They would not let us drink coffee. We should not let children be drinking coffee. We don't let them do drugs. Well, we might as well figure out which drugs they're going to be addicted to because they're going to try them anyways. And if they're going to try them and they're going to start being addicted, we need to use those addictions so that we know what they're addicted to. Because we need to start medically treating these addictions instead of forcing people to live on the street because they need to go find their addictions and they can't. They can't get their supply and they need it so they can demand something out of life. Too bad they all have to live and breathe. Just like them fucking child molesters and all them rapists that you let go out of prison faster than you do someone who was in murder, who murdered her husband after being fucked up for years. That's how fucked up you are. My husband almost killed me 7 times because of his negligence. And I let him do it to me a few times because I didn't care. I didn't think I was going to live to be 50. I certainly didn't think this ass was ever going to be golden. If I make it to 80, I'll be surprised. I already want to die. I've been wanting to die ever since I had brain surgery the first time, and you won't let me kill myself. Oh well. I made a pinky promise with a schizophrenic that I would not do that. Too bad her mind was so broken by drug addiction that she can't function. We need to get mental institutes back in play so that Ronald Reagan did that to people. And you keep doing it to them. Those Hilton hotels, half of them should be occupied by homeless people because there's no excuse. Hilton Head, South Carolina, needs to go back to all those people that owned it before those fucking Hiltons got their cocks on there. I didn't find that fire red engine in that Johnny Depp. But I think I might have that fire red engine next to me at Comanche. They're more violent than Cherokees, that's for certain. I begged him. I told him I wanted to be the next president. He said, you better be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. I'm not afraid to show you pictures of my pussy. because you have got to learn your addictions. You have got to learn that pornography is the worst addiction you have, because it teaches you to keep touching yourself. And instead of stroking it and waiting and stroking it and waiting so that you can wait longer in between the times you have orgasms, so that you, when you are inside a woman, you don't pop a shot real fast. My roommate was telling me he can have more anal orgasms than he can when he comes, and that feels better to him. I'm happy for him, because I would love to pop. I wish I could stand to have more anal orgasms, but I don't like my ass being played with. I had to have 2 assholes in 1 year because I told this stupid doctor that my family freed slaves, and he decided to fuck up my asshole. I thought I was doing something. You know, whenever you, when I used to have to speak like, I used to have to speak like this all the time, because I had to make sure that all of you people could understand how I spoke, and that, you know, you could understand me. But now I don't care anymore. I still have to speak like a Southern belle, because when I sound like a hick, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. It doesn't sound right. When I tell my nigga joke like this, it sounds a lot better than when I sounded like this. That's the way my grandfather used to talk to me. But I'm so am glad. I so am glad the nigga boys grew up. I'd never be more grateful than have having a big black cock waved in my face. It's been one of the biggest pleasures of my life. And Mark Zuckerberg wants to tag me each time I have the freedom of expression. Oh well, too bad Rapunzel's gonna have to figure out how to put Wi-Fi code on all his pornography that he's been collecting since he was going to Harvard. The addiction to the internet. I started one of those. I did. Before Yahoo came around. OneOpinionatedBitch.com is 30 years old. That was before I was addicted to drugs. I had to be addicted to drugs because my body hurt all the time. It wasn't fair. I was mindful. I just didn't want to be around toxic, narcissistic abuse. So I shielded myself the best of my ability, because I saw how all those narcissistic people were addicted to whatever it was you hated. And I have lots of it. They all want it, and I don't want to give it away freely. But I give it to this killer. This killer that I had to go to Afghanistan and kill some child molesters because they was trafficking children. We was trafficking children over there. You think about that? That's what we did. Raping and pillaging, raping and pillaging. We don't care if they're children. We can kill them all. Too bad they got Instagram now. Too bad they got Instagram and we can see what they play with. Too bad. Too bad. I won't fuck my roommate. Cause we're both sex addicts. We We can't help it. Are you looking for your chocolates? He doesn't understand me when I'm speaking like a southern belle. I can't help it, but I love how I sound like I'm always singing a country song when I speak in my natural voice, with my natural lips. Look, I gave myself a nice fat lip. I should be doing that all the time. Look like I got fillers. We're learning each other. I'm learning his addictions. At least I know he likes things. He's a man. If you are a sex addict, or if you have any inclination, if you have not experienced sex with everybody, all kinds of people, then there's something intrinsically wrong with you, because that means you're not culture sensitive. I'm culture sensitive to Jews. I'm sorry that they have to ask me stupid questions like, is my clitoris big enough? No, asshole. It can go inside my body. Why did you have to ask me that? Why do men have to ask those questions? Oh, 'cause you watch too much porn, 'cause your addiction's to porn. And you think women need those big cocks. Guess what? You can grow one by resistance training. Instead of doing Kegel exercises, if you push down hard enough on their dicks, it grows them at the base of their cocks, and it starts to get they start to get bigger. I know, I've got pictures of my husband's dick when we started and when he finished. I know men. I've had 50 years to study it. I've had 50 years to be myself. To just listen. Stop and listen. Because we've had to. We're a bunch of women. We're watchers on the wall. We've had to listen to you. And unfortunately, we're the ones, even though Jon Snow couldn't breathe, we're supposed to. Because we're women. We don't own our own bodies. You do. You own our bodies. Think about that. Think about those addictions that men have to women. And that you have to keep raping and pillaging children. Children. The most natural resource that we as humans have. The survival of the fittest. Why do we have to go through so much hell as children just so you can get off? We need Facebook pages so we can know exactly what these sick people are into. We need to know these things because we need to study people so that we can explain ourselves to ourselves when we're on Mars and why we had to do an egalitarian society and why we needed to put some men up on pedestals that could breed. Because in the future, we're not going to be able to breathe so easy. It's 67 degrees in Mars. You just need something, a suit, still suit to breathe. How cool is that? How cool is that? And Dr. Kraft can make it so you can wear your still suit all the time by having little lasers in there to work on your joints. And gravity in Mars is different. I guess you can have little Bitty, you don't need, you can have little bitty jetpacks. And go through the air. I'm addicted to thinking about all different kinds of ways of life. And it's too bad that I can see things in the future. I see things in the past because time is a wibbly wobbly thing. I feel my grandmother with me more than I feel my mother because I didn't get to feel the presence of my mother until half of my life, for only half of my life. And she was 52 when she died. That's going to be 1 year away from me. Actually, it's more like a year and 7 months. A year and 7 months. It's funny how you can keep up with time. 25 years. 10 months. 10 months. And 18 days ago, my mother died. That's how fast I can do the math. Without hardly thinking in my head. I miss that bitch. I missed her when I got married. I missed her. At least I got to see her when my sister got married. Oh no, my roommate's in here looking for his phone, getting his supply. I like having a roommate. I like not being crazy. I like not being a crazy jaybird anymore, J-Cat. Doesn't know the difference between reality and is delusional. I was not delusional. I know what I know because you've got to know it. You've got to understand. You've got to see. You've got to feel. You've got to know yourself. I started keeping my journal regularly when I was 23. Wait, no, I was 21. No, I was 20. It's been 30 years since oneopinionatedbitch.com. I have to live. I have to breathe. And I've been raped. And Donald Trump is a rapist. And I can learn economic policy. I can have smart people around me. And I can make better decisions than even Elon Musk. Я могу познакомиться Владимир Путин сама. Я буду умер ему сама. Я просто не могу слышать еще день, когда он еще жив, и смотреть кино, есть мороженое, есть лягушка будешь, извините, и маленькие собачки. There's my roommate serenading me. I love that. I really love him. That's another addiction. The addiction to love. And the love that you want to love somebody else more than yourself. And that's the biggest crock of shit right there. Everybody you look at, everybody you see, is just a reflection of who you see as yourself. What you want from yourself. Or for yourself. Or for somebody else. It's nice to have somebody around me who has ADHD and I can ask him to do things and he does it. Goes and gets me weed so I don't have to buy weed. Make sure that my basic needs are met. And I'm doing the same for him. We're walking up a ladder, and at least it's not covered in shit. At least this ladder has fucking ADHD. He doesn't mind seeing my fucking skanky little ass and my little bitty depends. Walking around the apartment going, ha ha ha. I'm not gonna ask him to take this asshole outside. Do you want to go outside? Is that what you want? Do you? Do you? Do you love me? Who asked you, Cotton Ball? I'm talking to Stormy. Do you? Do you love me? Do you? You love me? I love you too, Pepper. Who's a good boy? You a good boy? You don't have nasty eyeballs yet. The addiction to love and wanting to be loved. That's one of the hardest addictions to have on the planet. And meeting somebody where your OCDs match. Because when your ADHD and all that shit doesn't match and your personalities don't match, guess what? It's not going to work at all. Excuse me, peppers. No matter how hard you try. And you should know that pretty fast. Especially by the time you're 50. At least he was a street urchin for a while. He knows what it's like to have to live in an RV. And he's got a swanky one. Too bad, too bad. I want to go to that beach again, Capistrano Beach. Would have been nice to have gone with Jackie, but too bad she had to threaten our lives. That's where I draw the line. And I did threaten Tawny and Dave's lives because that asshole lied and quit telling me how my son was doing. And they knew that was going to drive me crazy. They knew what they were doing, those 80-year-old assholes. Too bad I know what I'm doing too. Too bad I'm going to sue that neurosurgeon. Hopefully I'll make $1 million before we can settle that out of court so I can get at least $10 million, $3 to pay my attorney, and $1 million for each year that I could not put out my books. Think about those addictions. Think of how I could have been helping so many different people because I had to have a shunt fucked out of my spine and live with some dumb fucking neurosurgeon who couldn't even give me antibiotics after I had brain surgery. And look what these dumb fucks do to the world. My best friend is fighting for her life right now. Fighting for her life because they gave her a brain infection after she had a cerebral spinal fluid leak. And most of you people aren't addicted to brain surgery. I don't want to be addicted to it, but guess what? I don't have a choice. They left me the wait and see approach. Let's wait and see what happens to your brain. It tore itself into pieces and you didn't put a shunt in. Because the ventricles are all wide open from having too much pressure. And men do not understand cerebral spinal fluid and the way it works. I do not understand it to save my life. And I need to be saving my life. I need to be working on getting an MRI and taking care of those kinds of things. At least I have somebody who's going to help me get to my doctor's appointments. Possibly go in and start to learn how to take care of me. Because I do require a lot of care. That's something I've been wanting to make sure my roommate could provide for me before I got sexually involved. I wanted to make sure that he would meet some of my needs before I had to meet all of his. That's just how I've learned how to be with sex addicts and drug addicts. So glad he's not addicted to the same things that my body is. Because being in fucking prison, in jail, without my medication, and being in a mental institute without my medication. Thank God I was on Thorazine to make up for the fact that I was not on my opiates. Thank God they put me on that clinical trial illegally so that I can sue them too. It's sad when you have to go through life and threaten people with litigation. And not just threaten it, know your rights. I sat in front of a judge when they had me in the institute and told them all the rights that all my rights that were being violated. Every fucking one of them. I made sure that I had all those people. I photocopied, I wrote things down, and then I photocopied it. And they thought I was crazy when I've been to Russia. And I wrote these books. I thought I'd be Johnny Depp's wife, next wife. I'm not that dumb. Oh well, I was trying to kill myself when he was watching me. You can tell by the algorithms in Instagram who watches you the most. Because after you go through all of their stories, whoever is watching you the most is the one that's first. Whenever you go to send stuff to people, whoever you send it to first is either who's watching you the most. You gotta understand how Google and Instagram uses those things against you. Thank God I had a mind powerful enough to stop it. I'm in love with Robert. He had to go through so much hell. He spent a year. He was playing a game. And he got excited because he won. And he was in jail. I don't know if he was in jail or prison. I can't remember. But he jumped up. I can't remember. They caught him for something stupid. His aunt said he stole something from him. And all they found was a controller. And he got scared and ran. And because he ran, they thought he was guilty. Of course, bench warrant and all that bullshit. All that stupid bullshit that family puts you through for no reason. His mother doesn't even know why he's an addict. People are dumb and don't listen. They don't see. They can't see because they can't see beyond themselves. They don't do enough research on personalities. They don't believe in the stars. They don't believe in their own star signs. And that's how we had to deal with things for centuries. And they make more sense sometimes than some of the stupid bullshit science that you pull out of your assholes. Like, oh, we came from aliens. No, we didn't. We came from the universe. We were that primordial goo that sat on top of the ocean and got hit with electricity and made the world what it is today. I've had meningitis. I can explain it to you. I can explain that we needed men to make more of our race. So that's why we popped you guys out the way we did. Maybe some aliens came and fucked some apes. I don't doubt that. I'm pretty sure, I hope, as president, I can pull them alien bodies out for everybody to see. Because it's stupid for us to. The stuff that the government keeps hidden, why are they hiding anything? They should be as transparent as I have been. I will never lie to you people the way that you have been lied to all of your lives. Because people are addicted the way that they use their addictions to money. The worst addiction there is in the world. The greed. The greed that people have just so they can live a lifestyle they can't afford. Because society puts us in a trap where we're always running on the hamster wheel. Look at that, look at that. Look at those addictions to life, to breathing, and food and shelter. I've lived like Jesus myself. I've been homeless. I had to sleep on somebody's floor. I had to spend 3 extra weeks in the hospital because she wouldn't let me come home with bacterial meningitis. That's one of the addictions that made me, when I had brain surgery, that was one of the addictions I had because I had to find some answers for all these children. I saw all these children. I fought my first child and I saw her suffer so much. We have to be on fentanyl. She has to be on fentanyl because her body's still producing a period. And once you're not having a period anymore, you don't understand how much easier it is to live in your body. It's crazy that we have to go through hormonal explosions because we don't adapt to our bodies the way that nature intended. We can't. We're addicted to feeling good. We should be addicted to feeling good about ourselves. About ourselves. And just being natural human beings. And respect each other just because we have to live and breathe. And try not to overwhelm each other with our ways. I couldn't even get online really for the last week, 10 days, because I was overwhelmed with someone whose problems were stronger than mine, and I couldn't do anything about it. I tried to make her feel better. Oh well, you were molested. Get over it. Just go get over it. Just get over your addictions. Just get over it. I don't know how I'm going to cut sugar out. That's my biggest weakness. But I'm trying. I'm trying to get it out of my system. I got caffeine out a long time ago. Every once in a while I'll drink tea. Sometimes I'll have a Starbucks. Not even once a month. Maybe once every other month. I don't want to be having my carbon footprint. I'm sad I didn't get that electric car because I didn't have the extra $4,000 to spend on a better car for the environment. And I feel guilty for it now, especially with the way gas prices are. Jesus Christ. Now you know what it's like to drive in Europe. Now you know why they all drive mopeds. That was one of the funnest nights of my life. Yes, my roommate could not understand how he could lay next to me and I did not roll all over him. Because I'm addicted. Sometimes you have to be addicted to being around some other people so you don't go crazy and try and kill yourself. I don't know how some of my friends have been alone all their lives. My best friend, he's autistic. People don't like to listen to autistic people. That last girl was schizophrenic and autistic. And hooked on crystal meth and an alcoholic. She was sacrificed. She wasn't just molested. She was sacrificed, which was way worse than what we went through. The devil got her. God, it made me so sad. She was here, and we washed her face, and I wish I'd taken pictures of her when she got here versus when she left, because she looked like a completely different person. Oh, these worms in my face. She touched one pimple right here and one like that, and it just went. It's just like, yuck. Tried to get her to do the microdermabrasion. She wouldn't do it. That hurts. Well, my skin's real sensitive. Well, that's not my fault. It's not my fault that you've had to live such a hard life. It makes me feel bad that I tried to offer you sanctuary and you shit all over me and said everything. People will always tell you how they are and what they're going to say and what they're going to do to you. They'll always tell you exactly what they're about. All you have to do is shut up and listen, and they will reveal their own narcissism to you on a daily basis. They can't help themselves. They're addicted to themselves. They're not addicted to anything else but what they can do for themselves. They don't care about your addictions. They don't respect your addictions. People that are like that are people that are so toxic you can't share any of your time. First, second, and third, just like that Narc Daily says, every day. At least he's not on drugs. You can tell he's empathetic, and he wouldn't judge me because I'm sick, have to wear pants. But I kind of dig my roommate. At least he's not lying to me about anything he is. Not one fucking lie. I like that. I can't stand liars. That's the worst addiction people have, is lying to themselves about who they are as human beings. That's not the kind of person I am. Yes, it is. If you say that's not who you are, that's exactly who you are. Oh, I'm not a bitch. Wait, let me say that again. I'm not a bitch. I'm really not a bitch. I just have to protect myself. When I called myself one opinionated bitch, it's because some asshole called himself the emperor of the internet, and I was like, oh really? Trying to get egotistical side of the week. And I got it for 6 months. That's so. I'm addicted to putting people in their goddamn place. Exactly where they belong. Oh, you stole my son. I'm sure your ass, those 30 pounds that slid off my ass, are on yours, and you didn't even notice my son gained that much weight? You fucking fat, ugly cunt who had to steal somebody else's kid because your empty nest was so strong? Can't deal with just having your autistic husband and your mother. You had to take what I had away from me and then reveal that you were kidnapping him because you were addicted to my son, just like everybody is, because he's such a great kid. Oh, look at what a great kid he is. You're such a great mother. I didn't feel like I was that good of a mother. He used to call me the best mama ever till he was about, I don't know, 14, 15, when he was being groomed by somebody who hated his own mother. Well, it has been an hour. It has been an hour and 7 minutes of me talking about all kinds of things. I hope that you enjoy your day. I still can't get over how many people are checking me out. Slowly. Slowly but surely, I've been getting my shit together. Catherine.6. Go check it out. You can go see my diary, my old original diary. You can read my manuscripts so that Jeff Bozo doesn't get any of my fucking money. It's not fair. Please support me as a human being. Please love me because I love you. I want you to have the best sex life. I want you to be satiated in every way that you can be. If you know what your addictions are, you should go to, if you're in pain, you need to see a pain management doctor so that you can be managed instead of going through the ups and downs of how those addictions, so you can understand you're chemically dependent. If we make drugs legal and we can control all these things going on, perhaps we can keep these kids from dying from fentanyl. Perhaps we can educate them on people that have been on fentanyl. Nothing was more powerful to me when I took my sex crimes class than seeing my first transsexual. When she was he finally said, I was so glad to be off estrogen. I didn't have to think like that anymore. One of my other best friends, who's a hobo loving Cornelius Van Gogh. I love her. You should look her up. She's one of the smartest people. She held my hand when my husband was dying. But nobody else would. She's one of the most beautiful people on the planet. And it's the people that have been hurt the most that are more protective of themselves. So that you can be and more bitter. I never want to grow up being a bitter, angry old woman. I want to be in love. And I want somebody to be in love with me the way that I love them. That's my worst addiction. Is to have the love that I have for myself mirrored back at me. My son, I kept telling him he was sick in the head, and then he ran away, and I told him, that makes you even more sick in the head. You don't understand. He says, you're trying to gaslight me. I said, no, your dad killed himself. You don't understand your own addictions yet. Your addiction to the internet. Your addiction to porn. And I let you have it. So hopefully you won't have it. You can get it under control. I miss you, boy. Less and less. Because I have somebody else filling up that big old gap of love that I needed. And I don't even have to satiate him sexually yet. I get to have some of my fantasies fulfilled. And it's nice to think that there's somebody there. Maybe by Christmas. Maybe that'll be his Christmas. Maybe that'll be my Christmas present. I don't know if we're in South Carolina or not. I'd love to celebrate Christmas with my best friend who just had brain surgery. I'm crying on the inside all the time. And I'm also laughing all the time. I have to. You're all such a bunch of fucking bullies. You can't get it. You just can't get your own addictions under control. And it makes me say, I wish you would have them under control so that you don't hurt other people. Because there is a way to make these addictions work in your favor. It is. You have a beautiful day. I love you. Namaste. Not my stay.